Hey everybody, my name is Sarah Lean, and today I'm excited to bring you this discussion, which is my favourite subject, cloud migration. And to help me do that, I want to welcome Bharat. Welcome, how are you doing?
Hey, Sarah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm happy to be here today to be able to answer questions on Azure Migrate. So thank you for having me on.
Awesome. So I've got some questions lined up for you, but what I'd love is the audience to chip in as well. So let's dive into the first question. What we're seeing is a lot of organisations talking about migration projects, and I want to understand if we've seen any trends as to why they're talking about migration projects and why they're suddenly becoming a top priority for them.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a great question. So I think organizations are kind of increasingly seeing and realizing the value of being able to run their applications or run their IT even in a cloud like Azure. I'd say there are three key factors that are at play here. One is the scale of innovation or the kind of innovation that they get access to by running in a platform like Azure. Uh, not running in the public cloud basically means that you're locking yourself out of some of these innovations that are happening, and you end up not really being able to keep pace with that, right? So that's definitely one of the things that's a big driver, and this is what we've been seeing. The the other critical thing I would say is security. With the kind of advanced security and threat protection that a hyperscale cloud like Azure can offer, and all of the investments that we make in this space, your workloads are probably more secure running in Azure than probably running it elsewhere in your own data center. So unbeatable, unmatched security is the other big driver that I think customers are really seeing the value of being able to leverage by running in a cloud like Azure. And the third thing that's kind of key is of course economics. And even when you look at it from an economic standpoint, oftentimes it's considerably better or economical for you to run a lot of these workloads in Azure. For example, just to kind of take one or two examples, if you look at Windows, right? Windows servers. Windows servers run best on Azure, period. There are these great offers from a commercial standpoint that let you run applications on Windows servers in Azure in a more cost-effective way than you could do on any other cloud, private or public. If you're running on Windows Server 2008, which I know like a lot of customers still are, there are great offers in Azure, such as the free extended security updates that you can leverage in conjunction with things like Azure Hybrid Benefit and reserved instance pricing, and really bring your cost down to 1/5 the cost that you could get with any other cloud provider. So these are some of the key things that's kind of driving some of these migrations. But I'd say also more recently, considering the kind of times that we are in, the way of doing business has changed. A lot of companies and businesses have had to adopt to remote working models, which means they need to be able to enable their workforce to be productive remotely, and the demand for the kind of solutions that can help you do that. There's no way you can kind of build that on-prem now in the given situation we're in. So remote workforce productivity. The other thing is also being able to scale up your business applications with the way of doing business changing. Um, your business, a lot of businesses suddenly overnight have gone predominantly digital in the mode in which they kind of do business as well, and they need to kind of be able to scale out those applications that support those businesses. Again, is only possible if you're running in a hyperscale cloud like Azure. So I'd say these are some of the things that are even more recently, given the current milieu, is kind of driving up the migrations in or themes that we're seeing with migrations to Azure.
It makes a lot of sense. Are we seeing any common set of migrations embedded inside the project? And how can Azure Migrate actually help with those common sets if we are having any?
It's a great question. Um, yeah, obviously, I think the common ones that we've been seeing, and we continue to see an acceleration a lot of times in the migration is obviously with Windows servers. I already spoke about how Azure is your best destination to run Windows servers. That's really a no-brainer. But even when it comes to running Linux servers or databases, SQL Server, I think these are the common workloads that we popularly seeing customers migrating into Azure. But in addition to that, in more recent times, I spoke about the workforce productivity or remote productivity. We've seen a large increase in customers wanting to run desktops or virtual desktops in Azure using the Windows Virtual Desktop solution. So that's one that we're seeing a lot of traction for, and a lot of migrations happening to. The other thing is also specialized solutions that we now offer in Azure, such as for SAP, Oracle, or let's say even VMware on Azure, right? So customers who have existing investments in VMware that want to continue to be able to leverage those investments while still kind of using all of the cutting edge capabilities that Azure offers. Want the best of both worlds. AVS is a perfect solution for you. And we're seeing a lot of customers wanting to kind of adopt that solution as well, right? So, and the one common thing I'd say across all of this is, regardless of which solution you choose, we got you covered in Azure Migrate, right? So we got a variety of tools to cover all kinds of scenarios, and that really makes Azure Migrate your central hub for all of your data center migration requirements. So name it, and we've kind of got you covered, and we're kind of continuously adding new scenarios on an ongoing basis to make sure that you can land in Azure and achieve those business outcomes that you set out to achieve.
Awesome. I know when I'm talking to customers about migration projects, I'm always striving to stress how important that discovery and assessment piece is for their project. And it helps also try and figure out the quick wins that they can move very quickly into Azure. Now, I know you and the team have been working on some new features to try and help enhance the kind of results that they get from their discovery and assessments. Could you tell us a bit more about what you've been working on?
Yeah, that's spot on, and I think you know that I share that opinion. So and the team does share that kind of philosophy, right? So with any migration project, I think especially IT-driven migration projects, velocity is key, and the planning aspect is super critical to ensure that you're set up for success. And there are various pieces that go into planning, but the technology piece of that planning aspect really is the migration assessments and dependency analysis pieces. Which is why we're investing a lot of energy in improving our tools and consistently enhancing our tools in that space. You're aware of the agentless dependency and application discovery capabilities that we introduced last year. So customers who are running on VMware can actually use these capabilities without having to install agents and discover not just your servers and configurations, but also inventory the list of applications that's running on them and what kind of dependencies exist between these machines. Agentless means you can do that a lot more simpler. You no longer have to go through all of those clearances to get to install agents, etc. Right? So we made a lot of incremental enhancements in that space. When we launched, we used to support dependency analysis for 100 servers or 100 virtual machines concurrently. We've actually made 10x scale improvements to that, so you can actually now run concurrent dependency analysis across 1,000 VMware machines all at once, requiring absolutely no agents at all. So this is kind of super critical, and in addition to enhancing the solutions itself, there's also certain aspects about how do you kind of take that and really bring that into your decision-making process. And there are a couple of solutions or investments that we made to help you take all of that rich information and make better sense of them. And I'd like to kind of share my screen and kind of just show you screenshots of a couple of these solutions. These are available now. So if you can see my screen, I think one of the first things that we've done is you got all of this rich dependency data. You can export that out, but we've now also kind of built a custom solution in Power BI that lets you import that dependency information and visualize that in these rich visualization tools. You can use all of the rich filtering capabilities that Power BI offers. So if you look at the section over at the right, I can actually filter based on various parameters such as the servers, the applications. So not only am I looking at just inter-server dependencies, I can also look at inter-process dependencies. Now, there may be certain processes that I am aware of, for example, shared services that I already have a solid plan for. So I can actually eliminate those things in the dependency view that I see and kind of really use this information to build that high confidence migration plan, knowing fully well that I've catered to all my dependencies when I'm building my migration waves, and I'm not leaving any dependency behind. In a similar way, in the assessment solution, as you try to identify quick wins, the assessment capabilities, you can actually perform a variety of different assessments and try and identify which might be the best path for you in Azure. So we've actually now built a custom solution that's again available through the same GitHub repository. And this is all available for you to take and use today and also contribute back. So what you're seeing here in this Power BI visualization is I've computed assessments of various types here at the bottom across my entire fleet of servers. And I've compared the various options that's available to me, the various pricing options and the various assessment types. So 1-year reserved instance pricing, 3-year reserved instance pricing, etc., and being able to really identify which one works best for me from an economics perspective, right? So that's one thing. And the other critical piece of information, if you look here, is across my entire fleet of servers, against what my provision capacity is on-prem, my current average utilization is just about only 40%, right? So what that really tells you is the power of this performance-based assessment in terms of how you can optimize and right-size when you migrate to Azure, and straight away out of the bat, save like a whole bunch of costs. So it's critical to kind of use this information and enhance your planning and make sure you're planning your migrations better. And success begets success. Identify the easy wins. Windows Server end of support is a great opportunity to kind of take advantage of, and the low-hanging fruit of your first migration candidate. So use that to build success and iterate from there. And we are consistently making investments in this space to make this process, or the decision-making process, easier for you.
Sounds really good. One thing I want to touch on from what you announced last year was the ability to assess physical servers. And I think that was in preview last year when you announced it. Whereabouts is that in the life cycle now? Is it available, or?
Yeah, that's generally available now. In fact, we just recently went generally available and that solution has been we're seeing a lot of traction there. Not only are customers using it for physical server migration, but we're also seeing them use it in other scenarios where, say, they may not have access to the virtualization manager, or even to migrate workloads from other clouds like AWS and GCP. So we've actually taken that solution, enhanced it to work well for other public clouds as well, and that one's been pretty popular.
Awesome. I think I've got time for one last question. I watched Abhishek's session earlier on, and he mentioned something exciting about being able to migrate applications and containerize them into AKS. Could you talk a wee bit about that, please?
Yeah. So the thing that we recommend customers is, as you think of migrating to Azure, there are a lot of quick wins and easy ways to kind of easily get value out of the migration. So always prioritize your lift, optimize, and shift first, and then continually modernize and optimize once you're in Azure. One of the things that we keep getting asked is, hey, okay, I can move my servers into Azure virtual machines. The performance-based assessments is a great way for me to optimize in the process of migration. But we keep getting asked about, can I actually modernize part of my infrastructure as I migrate? And containers, as you know, is kind of containers and container orchestration through Kubernetes is something that's becoming more and more popular. AKS recently announced the general availability of Windows containers on AKS, and in addition to being a great platform for distributed scale applications, IT is also realizing some of the benefits of being able to use containers as a way to pack more density into their infrastructure, right? So we thought it might be interesting to kind of give you an additional option, not just to migrate as virtual machines, but for a certain class of applications, potentially containerize that application with minimal to no code changes, right? So we're not really trying to tear apart the application, keeping the structural components the same, but repackage it in a format that you can potentially run it on a platform like AKS and still get a lot of these benefits of better infrastructure consolidation, taking away the management overhead of having to manage operating systems, and getting a consistent way to manage security for your security and management of your infrastructure. So that's something that's out in preview. And if you're interested in learning more, I'd recommend that you go sign up. The link to sign up, you can probably flash that later. It's aka.ms/migrate to AKS. So I'd encourage all of you that are interested in that solution to go sign up.
Awesome. It sounds a brilliant solution. Thank you so much for your time. We've ran out of time for the questions, but if you'd like to know more about Azure Migrate, head across to azure.microsoft.com and you'll find more information there. And if you're looking for some more sessions, make sure you check out the MyIgnite website and the session scheduler. Now, we're going to head back to another message from a partner. So cheers.